What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you a ham? Are you a ham? All right. Hey, everybody. I want to keep these introductions rolling, even though short on time lately. We got a lot going on here, but we've got a lot of new friends of the page, and they don't know a lot of the stories. So I figure I'd jump all the way back to almost the very beginning and introduce you guys to Kiera here. Kiera was the first dog I went after. Never right, baby girl. So, many of you know I used to have Rottweilers, and a little story about a min pin named Lucy growing up from my grandfather. And when I went to find my own Chihuahua, I was looking for something black and tan. I was very selfish at that point. I was looking for me. That didn't register at the time. It does now. So I go to see Kiera here, and I found her on Craigslist, and she wasn't very expensive. And I go to, and yes, she was brown and tan, but she was so cute. I couldn't resist, and I was impetuous. So I went down to meet the people, and I get to the place, and something totally changed at that point. I no longer cared about me, but the conditions she was living with, even though they were in a townhouse in a suburban area, I mean, the mud from the front porch had literally just come in front of the house. The place was dirty, very dirty. There was 2 other dogs there. There was a family, mom, dad, 2 kids. The older girl seemed to have the closest bond with Kiera. Kiera's name was actually Carmela, believe it or not. And before you get on me for changing the name, it's not really how it went down. So, so Kiera here was kind of being starved out by the other dogs in the house. She was being bullied. She was a third of their size, if that. And they were getting rid of her for financial reasons. And the only one that really cared about this was the little girl. But Kiera still greeted me like any Chihuahua would at the front door. She absolutely hated me. She tried to take my hand off. She bit me. She was defending her family. She's loyal as can be. And it took me about a half an hour just to, I sat down on this muddy floor. I fed her treats, which, we got some turkey out of the fridge, just to try to gain her friendship. And, I was really starting to wonder if, I had this, ability with dogs or not, because I thought, from the whole thing with Lady, this dog who doesn't like anybody, all of a sudden loves me within an hour of being with me. And here Kiera is, and she absolutely hates me. So I convinced the lady to put her on a leash and let me walk her around the parking lot of the development, which I did for about a half an hour. And every time I'd stop and try to get close, she'd growl or bark at me and nip at me. And I'm thinking to myself, man, if she does this to me, if it's not me and it's her, she's gonna do this to everybody, and nobody's gonna want this dog. She's gonna end up in a damn shelter. And that's the mindset I got at that point, and I couldn't stop. That's the only thing I could think of. So I was determined to make this work. So I went back to the lady. I didn't have change. I just brought 100, and I gave her more than the dog was worth, simply because she didn't have change. And I told her, look, I'm gonna take her, and if it doesn't work out, keep the money. I just need to know that I have a place to bring her back, because if she doesn't want to be with me and she wants to be with you, I want her to know that she don't worry about reimbursing me the money. Just take your dog back to where she's happy. Of course, she said yes. She gave me her phone number, and I was texting her as I went home. Well, I met her at the gas station a few minutes later. Just happened to run into her and her daughter wanted to say goodbye one more time, and it was very emotional. And I promised her little girl that I would take care of her. So, within 15 minutes, I have a picture sent back to this lady. Kiera's on my lap riding home. Pretty much best friends ever since. We bonded. It was great. I get her home. She was a complete nightmare. No discipline, all over the place, defiant. Just a dog from hell. But not in a horrible way, just a crazy way. But as I told the story to my friend Connie and anybody else that would come over, I noticed that every time I said the word Kiera, her ears perked up. And remember, her name was Carmela. And Carmela, get over here. Carmela, get out of that. Carmela. Like I said, I didn't care for that name very much, but I'm starting to wonder, Kiera, and every time her ears would pop up, and I just said, screw it. I'm gonna call her Kiera, which their daughter, Kiera for me was short for Kiera. Her daughter's name was Kiera. And so what I honestly think is that the parents never really addressed the dog. They would just address the girl, and every time the girl would come for anything, the dog would come with her thinking her name was Kiera. So I texted the lady back and said that she doesn't answer to Carmela, but she answers to Kiera very well. And I kind of took the enunciation out of it and shortened it to Kiera, just for my own purposes to make it original. But that I texted the mom and said that wanted her to let her daughter know that, you know, she was the inspiration for the name, and so she will always be a part of the dog. And I kept sending them pictures for a long time until the phone number stopped working. And to this day, since Kiera's been here, she's my numero uno. She's in charge. She's the alpha. I've watched her. If you watch any of the snuggling videos, you will see everybody. When I lay down on the floor, you will see everybody come, try to get face licks, try to jump on me. This girl right here, all she does is comes across and straddles my neck and lays there, protects her daddy. I've watched her put other dogs down. The dogs will be fighting. She gets involved. I'm scared to death because this is probably the toughest dog on the island. But I've actually watched her standing there, teeth snarling, paw literally on the chest of the other dog that she's got down, and she's not letting it up. And the other dog's gnashing at her. She's biting at her leg and everything. Kiera will not lay into him. It's amazing to watch the restraint that she shows. So everybody here knows that she's in charge. So but again, she still does everything wrong. But the way she does it, she's so happy every time she does something. You just cannot be mad at this girl. She is just like the ultimate sidekick. So that's Kiera. That's my baby girl. That's my first. Yeah, I know. And so you guys get to see her for the first time, and everything kind of spiraled from there. So we'll get back with another one sooner or later. We've been away from the dogs for 5 minutes. They're singing a song of their people right now because they miss us. So we got to get back to them.